Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Forged Irish Stout, Empire Fight Store. Eddie Hearn, it's weighing day after quite a subdued press conference yesterday. I wasn't expecting maybe the same sort of fireworks that we had in the opening press conferences, but expected a bit of something.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you've had this kind of build-up for 2 years, probably the coaches more than anything just say, nice and chilled today, we've got to finish the presser, do our work tonight, get the weight off, and now in a few moments they're going to come face to face at the weigh-in, obviously a little hungry, a little dehydrated and probably a little ratty. So at the same time, I don't want these guys to start chinning each other at the presser, but you know, I expect a little bit of fireworks ahead of a massive fight tomorrow night. And I think at this stage, both guys experienced enough to know, as you saw with the Fury Usyk presser, really, you know, yes, the final one, you know, not a lot to say other than let's fight, and that goes down tomorrow night.
How excited are you to have a proper rivalry? I don't know when the last time we saw a rivalry with maybe this much spite and clear hatred for each other.
Listen, it's what sells fights, whether we like it or not. And you know, luckily we've been able to contain it in a way that, you know, there's a few reach outs and stuff, but nothing too violent. And at the end of the day, we want to see it. We want to see rivalry. This has all the feelings of Froch Groves and Quigg Frampton and Bellew Cleverley, and you know, look how big those fights were. We sold over 10,000 tickets in about an hour for this fight, so we know it appeals. And like I said to you earlier this week, stuck between the two massive Riyadh events as well. It's an important moment, this, for British boxing.
In the build-up to this fight, I watched the George Groves podcast. Ian John Lewis was on, obviously, one of the judges for the first fight. He gave his opinion on why he was downgraded as a referee, etc., and since then's left, etc. He made comments about Jack Catterall going into the fight. He says, I didn't know who Jack Catterall was, and he was asked, the questions he was asked was, what would you say to him if you'd see him? And he said, well, I'd tell him, you missed your golden opportunity, you didn't give everything, and you grabbed on for dear life. Does that surprise you, that comments like that are getting made?
I think that, you know, Tony Bellew made a point the other day on air about the judges being held accountable for their decisions. Like, you interview me after the fight, right? Yeah. And more so, you interview the fighters after the fight, the trainers after the fight. Should you be able to hear a judge's opinion? Yeah. Because scoring's subjective. Like, when I tell you my scores for Fury Usyk, it's very different to Russ Amber's scores. And I actually think the debate is quite good. No one can really be wrong when they score a fight. Does that make sense? Because it's their opinion. And unfortunately for us, or you know, ones who score it the other way, it's that individual's opinion. Now, sometimes if everybody has it one way, and this guy is like the only person in the world that has it like 6 rounds to the other guy, you have to call that out. I think Jack Catterall in the first fight not necessarily let it slip, but he was cruising so much. The final few rounds, he definitely let Josh Taylor come back into the fight, you know, and maybe that's what was the difference at the end of the day. But when you say about I'd never heard of Jack Catterall, I don't mind that. You know, sometimes, say that you're you're a referee or you're a judge, and you've known this fighter for a long time, you've scored his fights, you like him, you know, you're a bit of a fan of him, and then you score him against someone else. Aren't you going to subconsciously favour that guy?
Like, he knew Josh Taylor, he openly said, I know Josh Taylor. That's not his fault necessarily,
by the way, and I don't know Ian John Lewis that well, but I'm just saying to you, like, he doesn't have to know Jack Catterall. But if he knows Josh Taylor, and he likes Josh Taylor, and he's been around his fights, and he's reffed his fights, and all this kind of stuff, is he going to have a natural bias, subconsciously, not for any other reason, you know? And the answer is possibly yes. So that's why some people like international judges who come over and actually don't know the fighters. They score the fight they see in front of them.
Let's move on. Ryan Garcia, the B-Sample everyone's been waiting for, and apparently, obviously, that's came back the same as the A-Sample, which is always going to happen. It's the same urine or whatever, in the same different blood in the different package. He's moved on now, saying he's had hair follicle testing, and Devon's saying, well, apparently he's had this done and prepared to have this done, but you know, nobody was there while it was done or anything like that. What do you make on this? Because this is another one that's going to keep going on and on and on.
I mean, look, I don't think you can go out and get your own scientists to do your own investigation and then announce you're innocent. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can build your case, and I think that's important to do. But it's very strange they just come out yesterday and say, yeah, we've already tested the hair, it's fine. Like, and also I saw Victor Conti's post about you can't do a hair sample for Ostarine, or I don't know, read his tweet. Yeah. And I don't care much for him either, to be honest with you. So the fact is, he's 100% had performance-enhancing drugs in his body. Yeah. when he's fought Devin Haney. That's what I keep saying. You won't see me coming out in an interview saying he's a cheat, he should be banned for life, he should be this. That's what will be discovered in the process that's coming. I'm just concerned that he fought in a fight like that with performance-enhancing drugs in his system and was 3.5 pound overweight. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I feel sorry for Devin Haney, even though for some reason in this bizarre world, like everyone seems to think Devin's the victim, Ryan's the victim. Like, I mean, anyway. Now we've got that B-sample back. At the moment, he's guilty and he has to prove why he's innocent. And that will happen before the New York State Athletic Commission, who may request evidence of hair sampling when the time is right. Not just me coming out going, no, that it done. That's the same kind of tactics as, it's a conspiracy theory. I was just, someone's got it in for me. Don't worry about it, on we go. Yeah. That don't work either. So you have to go through this process now. Been through the process many times. Arduous, frustrating, stressful, emotional. All these things are coming to Ryan. He's got to be up for the fight. You can't just say, I'm going to box elsewhere. Like, I love steroids. Like, that's not the look. You know what I mean? The look is, I'm innocent. I've never cheated in my life. I will go through this process with the New York State Athletic Commission and my lawyer to prove my innocence. I'm not saying any more on the matter right now. But it just gets worse and worse. It's like a car crash, In
terms of Erika Cruz, obviously that came out that she'd had a failed test. What's the situation? It's the same with her now. She has to go through the whole process and prove her innocence.
Erika Cruz, that was an undercard fight. It shows you how deep we're testing now, right? Yeah. We're testing at the main event, and that was at quite a small show in Mexico. She specifically asked Matchroom to have drug testing for that fight. So quite ironic that she's the one that tests positive. Again, for me, same as Ryan Garcia, I give her the benefit of the doubt, but when the sample was taken, she had performance-enhancing drugs in her system. Now, whether she had that in on fight night, we don't actually know because that sample was taken 2 weeks before the fight. Uh-huh. And this is the same argument now about the period of time it takes to receive a test back, which is anywhere between 2 and 4 weeks. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't like the argument of, well, there's no point testing people if you're not going to get the test results back in time. You need to know if that person had it in their system. But it would be better, obviously, for the entire sport if people who did have it in their system weren't allowed to enter the ring. We don't know that with Erika because it was almost too long before. But when she was tested, she had that substance in her body. Therefore, she's guilty right now, or innocent till proven guilty, but you've got to prove why you had that in your system. And that's the difficult thing when we talk about contamination, when we talk about food, it's actually proving how that got in your system via food, via a supplement that you took, which 100% exists. Do you know what I mean? You know when people say contamination, this is a thing. And by the way, cheating's a thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So at the same time, we've got to find out what's what. So right now, Erika has got to go through the process. It's going to be an arduous task for her as well, as it is for Ryan, as it is for everybody. But this is what we want in the sport, to find out if people have got that kind of stuff in their system.
I suppose on the flip side to this, no one wants to see anyone fail a test, but the fact that we're seeing these many things, and you've, in all fairness to you, perhaps you've pushed for this for years, and you've often said, look, we're spending millions of pounds per year on tests. They're not cheap, but we're doing it and we're finding out more. In a way, is it a positive, though, that we're actually seeing what's going on? Because it's shining light on the flip side.
Never a positive that fighters are failing tests, but if we are going to find fighters who have that in their system, we would rather find them, and we're doing it by spending the money. Like, I'm not looking for a medal, but we are the only ones investing at this kind of level into testing, undercards, smaller shows, big shows, everything, and it's important. So we haven't had a fighter test positive, blimey, I don't know, definitely this year, and now we've got one, and it's Erika Cruz. Yep. So she has to go through the process like everybody else, like Ryan Garcia, and go from there.
A couple more from me. Chisora Joyce getting made an interesting press conference as usual. Del Boy's he's back again.
I think we all love Del Boy. People talk about whether he should be fighting again. I think that specific fight, that specific style, is okay for Del. Like, I don't want to see him in with a young, sharp heavyweight with a load of speed, with great feet, that has one punch knockout power. Joe Joyce is very slow. He might be done himself. So I don't mind the fight in that respect, but let him have one more roll of the dice and see how he goes.
SoccerAid. Look, let's talk about it. I saw the video last night, and £100 million deal. I was like, what is it? What is
that video? Because it went mental. I won't mention any names, but I actually had owners of stadiums in the UK like reaching out to Frank Smith, going, "Why has he not done it with us? Like what?" And I'm sitting there at dinner going, "Oh no." Do you know when I was with the SoccerAid guy, the first bit that we filmed, I said, "I have just done the biggest deal. 2 heavyweight titans collide in a stadium in London," and I actually done it. And I went, "You can't put this out because everyone's going to think it's boxing." That's why I said it's not boxing. Do you know what I mean? So yes, I'm taking part in SoccerAid. I've already snapped one ACL, so the other one's pending, right? Yeah. I'm a bit like, they said to me in the thing, how would you describe yourself as a footballer? I said, well, up front really, because I want the glory, obviously. I said, do you remember like the sharp, intelligent, old school strikers like Ian Wright and Andy Cole? Remember Andy Cole? I said, absolutely nothing like them. More like an ageing, even slower, Niall Quinn. Or Tony Cascarino.
Still ballers.
That's what they used to call me at school, Tony Cascarino up front. Do you know what I mean? Like basically, people hanging off me, 0 speed, touch not horrendous.
But you can play a bit.
Not really. I mean, in my mind, I can play a bit. Do you know what I mean? But out there, it's a serious thing. Like, have you seen it? Like, you've got Usain Bolt running around and stuff like that. Like, Tony Bellew's in goal for the rest of the world.
He's going to come out and clatter you, innit?
I think I might try and manoeuvre myself to team motivator rather than player. But I would like a little 10 minutes at the end up front. Do you know what I mean?
Or a penalty.
Yeah, we got. Actually, it's quite a big thing. Like Thursday to Sunday, you're away in camp. So you're at Shamptons in training. Like you've got training sessions, you've got physio. I think I'd be more of a motivational guy. Do you know what I mean? The one in the change room. Maybe we'll host a special press conference and we'll do that sort of stuff. But yeah, the main reason that I did it, in all honesty, is for my daughter, who is a mad footballer and really good player. Yeah. And I went home and I told her, and I sat her down, and I was like, Soph, I've got something to tell you. I'm playing for England in SoccerAid. And she goes, are you joking? I went, no. And she went, you can't play football. Dad, that is so embarrassing, you can't play. Please don't play. I'm like, the only reason I agreed to it was for you. So yeah, I don't even think she's going to come. So a little bit embarrassing, but yeah. You know when you think you're quite good at something and then you see a video of you, like in the promo, I was doing like keepy uppies and I was thinking, actually, I'm not too bad. And then when I played it back, I was like, it's not awful. But I'll give it everything as always. And it's for charity.
Yeah, 100%. Eddie, appreciate your time as always. Thanks for talking Box Social. Catch up soon.
Bye.